Okay, so for ands, ors, or nots. So we've done ands and ors and nots before, right? When have we seen that? I heard a bunch of at the very beginning. Someone said it wasn't the very beginning, but it was. Was it chapter 2? Okay, and I think Aiden said logic gates. What were you going to say, Josh? Boolean logic, right? We used it in both of those. So we had and gates and or gates and not gates. And does anybody remember what the other gate was? XOR, right? And so we said, if you remember, let me increase my font here again, all the way up to 72. Huh? 100. No, I don't think it would fit. So if we had something like true, if I can type today, true and, let me do the trues lowercase. True and false. What did that equal? It equaled false. That is correct. And if I had something like 0 or 1, what did that equal? 1. That's right. So for an and to be true, both sides of the and have to be true, right? And for an or to be true, only one side of the or has to be true. Not, of course, if we said not false, that would equal true, right? It just takes whatever the opposite is there. So these things work the same way. What we're doing in this section here, you can use those operators in your where clause to say things. Oh, I erased it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so like if we wanted to say, we want to return all the records in our shark table where the value is, where the species is not great white, right? Then we could do that with the not keyword. We use the and keyword in the example, and then the or example, we could have said something like return all the species return all the records where the species is great white or the age is greater than 50, right? Greater than or equal to 50. So Lancelot would have been one that came back in that. Actually, everything would have returned in that, right? Because everything would have been either great white or 50 or older. But let's just go through a couple of those examples here real quick and make sure we understand that. I think my head is too big, and you can only see the top of it anyway. So there we go. How about if I do this, like right here, just my forehead? All right. So let's bring that down a little bit. So here's a bunch of records. This is probably this has got to be the customers table. It is. Why does it have this in here? Like the whole demo. Oh, I'm scrolling inside that iframe. All right, so here's an and statement. I don't know that I need to spend much time on this. I just think it's kind of obvious, right? I'm returning everything where the country is Germany and the city is Berlin, right? So for all of the ones that come back from this particular record here, nothing? Really? That's very awkward. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna try what I want to do. I think I'm going to open a new window. Oh, whoops. Yeah, okay, cool. A new Konos window, because I think something's whacked out from using this one. I think the database is, I'm going to try restoring it one time. Database is fully restored. Okay, now it's working. Maybe we'll be good. I've been playing around with it previously, and it got kind of out of whack. So just be aware of that. If you're trying stuff out and you start doing things and nothing returns, and you're like, there should definitely be something returning from that, try clicking the restore database button, and that resets everything. All right, so this returned all the records where the country was Germany and the city was Berlin. And so according to this, there's only one record that matches that, right? Where both of those values are true. But what if I did this? Now the country can be Germany, and there probably are going to be other records with the country Germany, or the city can be Berlin. And so we should get more records when we do that. And sure enough, we do. And we can verify here that there were no other records where the city was Berlin. You guys see that? Are there any other repeating cities? Are there any cities that do repeat? I don't see any. What if we do country USA? Let's try that. All right, so here's a bunch of USA records as well. There, Portland does? Yes, Portland. So let's do that. So we're going to do where the country is USA and the city is Portland. So we should give back more than one record when we do that, but they should all have Portland and USA, and they do. All right. What's that?
So the big cheese.
Cheese? Oh, the big cheese. Cool. Wow. All right. So does that make sense to everybody? How the and the or works? Yes? Yeah. All right. Give me some feedback. I don't want to lose Isaac. All right. So let's do not. All right. So not gets a little funky when you start combining it with ands and ors. All right. If you're just doing a not all by itself, it's not that bad. So if we say select star from customers where not country equals Germany. So notice the way that you format that. You just put the not in front of the whatever your filter is there. And so this would be the same as saying where country is not Germany, right? So when we try that, we should get only results back where none of the countries are Germany over here. So what if I say where country is Germany and city is not London? So we want to get rid of this thing here, and not city equals, space wouldn't have mattered, but since the other one was that way, and city is not London. All right, so I hit run SQL there. Did London go away?
There were 6 Londons.
There were 6 Londons. So it looks like it worked. Did our records went down? The number went down that we had? Let's see. Let's try that again, run it. So yeah, it went up to 80. So that's right. So just make sure when you put the nots in there, when you think about that as a Boolean statement, country does not equal Germany. So I'm selecting everything where the country does not equal Germany and the city does not equal London. So yeah, we don't have any Germanys in here. We don't have any Londons. What about the city does not equal Strasbourg? Let's try that. All right. So how many records did we get? 79. There's London. Strasbourg is gone.
I believe it's Russian.
What is Strasbourg, Germany?
It sounds Russian.
Yeah, I don't think I'm saying it right. What were you saying, Aiden?
I didn't know if it was Russian or German because we had filtered out Germany.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to say. Oh, we had filtered out Germany, so it couldn't have been Germany, right? So let's see. We'll put 2 S's in there, which shouldn't match anything. And there it is. It's France. Strasbourg. Maybe I have to say it like that. S'il vous plaît, Strasbourg. Strasbourg. I don't know. I'm not French. All right. So just make sure it works out like you want. It's especially weird when you do ors, right? So you might do something like this. Check, this is really what I wanted to show you. I meant to do an or. So if I do this, I get 91 records back. Look at that. Germany's in there. Strasbourg is in there, right? Everything's in there. But wait a minute, I said not where the country is Germany. So why did I get that? Why did I get all these with Germany in it? Because I said or, right? So yeah, this record, the country is Germany and it's not supposed to be, but the city is not Strasbourg, so it returns it, right? Because we used an or instead of an and. So just make sure you're thinking through that properly when you're using ors combined with nots. All right, let's move on to order by. So order by is cool because we, sometimes we get results back and, let's just, like if I do, let me just do a random one here. All right, and so we return customers back and we get all of our customers and they're just all in, usually the default here is it's going to order it by whatever your ID, what we call our primary key field. Have I talked about primary keys and foreign keys? Right, we've discussed that. In fact, was that on your quiz today? It was. All right, so primary key, is this a primary key or a foreign key? That's a primary key because that's the field that those numbers will not be repeated on another record in this table, right? And that's the field that uniquely identifies each record. So if I say return the record where customer ID equals 3, if there is a customer ID equal to 3, then I'm assured that I'm only going to get one record back always. It's a unique way to identify an individual row, right? But a foreign key field points back to a primary key in another field. So like the orders table has, this is the customer that ordered this, but he may have placed multiple orders. So you may find that number multiple times in a foreign key field, but you'll only find it once in the primary key field. So anyway, if you have a table with a primary key, usually it's going to default to sorting by the primary key. And so that's the way these records are returned. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are in numerical order here, in ascending order. But what if I want to return all the records grouped by or ordered by the countries? And so then I could add this statement, order by country, and it's going to sort this in alphabetical order based on the countries. It goes from the smallest, when it's sorting, it goes from the smallest in the sort order to the greatest in the sort order. And so it starts with A's here and goes all the way down to, what's our last one, Venezuela. If I want to do it in the reverse direction, so what we call this sort order here, where it goes from smallest to largest, that would be ascending order, and that's what it defaults to if we don't specify. But we could also say do it in descending order where it sorts it in the other direction. So if I put DESC in front of that, now it's going to do Venezuela first and go all the way down to Argentina. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Yes, nod your head.
Yes.
Okay, good. Some of you aren't looking. So are you doodling? Are you listening? Are you solving world hunger? Like what? I just want to make sure you get it, right? So you got it? Because it will be on the quiz, all right? So make sure that you understand how this order by keyword works. Now, something to point out. This is the first time, I think it's the first time that we've had a keyword where it's actually got a space in between it. Have we had anything like that? We've had select before and wheres and ands and ors and nots, but there's never been anything where we've had one word space another word. So I'm just pointing that out. It's not ordered by as one word. It's ordered by as 2 words. All right, but they always go together. Got it? Because someone will inevitably make a mistake on the quiz with that. So there should be a space in there. All right. Questions about sorting or ordering? It's sorting, basically, is what it is, right? We could do it on a text field. We could do it on a numeric field. You know how I said the default order is to is usually to use that ID field. We could say, but it does it in ascending order. Sorry, my computer locked up for a second there. I could do customer ID in descending order now, and it'll do the greatest number all the way down to the least number, right? So I can do it with numeric fields as well. All right, insert into. So here's another one. So we've talked about getting data out of the database. That's what we focused on so far. Isaiah?
What was the website called again?
It's w3schools.com and /SQL is where we are. So if I kind of zoom in here.
You put the link to like the class and the Google Classroom, like do it like homework, like.
Yeah, it's in there.
Put it in the Google Classroom feed is what he's saying.
Like, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Link in the Google Classroom feed, so we can just find it whenever we need.
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me to do that right now.
He was asking for what the thing was, and I was saying, you don't have to look it up, you put it in the Google homework thing. So you tap on it, it'll bring you here.
Yeah, I did put it in the homework. Yeah. And you were talking about me putting it in the feed, right?
Just so you can keep coming back to it, so we don't have to keep going back to that homework specifically.
Right. So he wants me to put it. You guys are so needy. So needy. Oh, it's like 2 extra clicks. I got to do 2 extra clicks.
What was the shorthand for descending order?
Well, sorry, I'm cracking myself up. What? The short DESC. Yeah. I don't think it will work if you do it the full. Did you want it here in the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, sorry. I want to announce something to the class. Hey guys, per Braden's request, per Braden's needy request. No, I'm not going to say that. I don't want any record that I slammed him in front of the whole class, right? Oh no, it's in the video. If I didn't know that Braden had tough skin, he could take it, right? I wouldn't do that. It's like, I don't know. As a tear runs down his cheek. All right, so let's go back over here to insert into. So did you get that with descending DESC? I don't know that I don't think it will work if you spell it out. Did you try that?
Well, I asked the question.
Oh, was it you? Sorry. All right, you guys, y'all look so much alike, right? So no, here it is, ASDC. I thought you asked it too. Were you asked me initially, right, Isaiah? You asked me which one to use?
Yeah, that was the website.
Oh, that was the website. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused.
So initially there was an ascending order, but then you have to put it in descending. Correct.
That's right. And I was just going to say, I don't think if you spell it out, it will work. I think you have to use, you have to use the abbreviation. Okay, let's see. Order by, oh, so here, let me just make sure that you guys know this. You can order by multiple fields. So, right, if I did country descending like we did it here, notice there actually is a built-in second sort. It first sorts by country, but how does it know when it's got 4 records that have that same country? How does it know what order to put those records in? Well, defaults back to what the default sort is, which is to go by customer ID. So notice all of the customer IDs are in ascending order here after it sorts by Venezuela, right? So if you want to sort both by country ID, and then you want the second sort to be maybe like postal code, right? So we could do order by country descending, but then order it by postal code ascending. And if I don't put ascending in there, it will default to ascending. So I just said run SQL. And so now it's Venezuela, and notice all these numbers on the postal code are in ascending order. All right, so you can put a second sort in there if you need to. And that's helpful just depending on what kind of information you're trying to get out. It's useful to be able to do that sometimes. All right, I have not been looking to buy an Aldi. I don't know why it's telling me I should get one. It thinks I make more money than I do. Yeah, definitely, right, yeah. I should probably do something besides teach students, right, if I want to buy an Aldi. I should learn how to code in, what is it, Trey? What is it? Solidity? Is that it? Solidity. Okay, there we go. And so I can code with Bitcoin stuff. All right, SQL insert into. Let's talk about that. So we're talking about getting data out. Now we want to put data in, right? It's no good to just get it out. Sometimes we have to put information in there. When we're initially building out our database, we need to be able to insert information into it. So the way that you do that is with the insert into keyword. So this one's a little different than some of the other ones that we've seen previously. But the first thing I want you to note is just like we saw with, let me make this a little bigger here. There we go. Just like we saw with order by, it's got a space in between it. So it's insert space into. Got it? All right. So insert space into. Are you cool on that, Sir Lancelot? He's got it. All right. And I'm just shocked. I'm amazed at how fast he's able to type with his flippers. So insert into. So here we're going to insert into the customers table. And we're going to put information in each of these columns. All right. So we're going to insert a row where we supply the customer name, the contact name, the address, the city, the postal code, and the country. And then we list the values here. We use this values keyword and we list the values in the same order, right? So Cardinal is going to correspond to the customer name. Tom B. Erickson is going to correspond to the contact name. Skagen 21 is going to correspond to the address and so forth, right? Couple of things to note here. We do insert into the table name first, and then we have open parentheses. So pay attention to that, right? When you list out your column names, it's going to be open parentheses and then close parentheses at the end of the list. Same thing with values. Then we supply the values, open parentheses, close parentheses. So make sure you don't miss that. Okay. So we're not going to insert this record here because we don't even know what Scoggin means, right? So we're going to change it to something that's more meaningful to us. And so we're going to stick Lancelot in here. So Lancelot, do we call him Sir Lancelot or is he just Lancelot? Just Lancelot? Has he been knighted? Lord Lancelot. Could we knight him? Has he been knighted yet?
No.
Has he ever been knighted? Oh, well, Lance, can I call you Lance? May I?
I think that's you need a ruler to like do it.
Huh?
You need like a ruler.
Well, I've got some pins.
Red pen is like more massive.
So, here we go. All right, so.
You roll.
It says you roll.
You rule. I like it. So, Lancelot by the power invested in me. I dub thee, Sir Lancelot. No, I just kidding, buddy. All right, you have been now. Yeah, present you to the class on video as well. Is that right? All right, here he goes. He's swimming up here. All right, here we go. There we go.
I think you should set up a video in front of the camera. Instead of watch it.
Here we go. Lancelot, let's go a little bigger. I mean, Sir Lancelot, I'm sorry. There you go. Would you like to say a few words? Shh. It's not done yet. Okay, thank you, Sir Lancelot. All right. So Lancelot is going to be, we're going to put his address in here. Sir Lancelot, sorry. Oh, man. No, he's just Sir. He's just Sir right now. We haven't gone that far. I got to see what the procedure is to upgrade him to Lord. I don't actually know. So I'm going to do some research on that. So Sir Lancelot, his contact name is... Who? Well, this is the person within the company that's been working with Sir Lancelot. It should be someone that probably speaks shark. Bruce. Okay, that'll be Bruce. All right, there we go. So his address is going to be 22. Shark Lane. All right. What about the city? What city does he live in? I was thinking Atlantis, right? So the lost city of Atlantis, the zip code there is, I happen to know this because I've visited before. It's just 5 zeros. And then what country is Atlantis in? Huh? It's in the ocean, Bermuda. Okay, we'll make it it's in Bermuda. All right, here we go. Let's insert this into the record so it's there for everyone to see. We ran it. Your changes have been made to the database. One row is affected. So let's check it out. We're going to go to the customers table now. It does say 92 records. It was saying 91 before. So when we go to all the way to the bottom of the customers table. Huh? Ah, that's a good point. That's a good call. All right, so let's do that. Order by. Well, since you're so smart, why don't you tell me how to do it? All right.
Order space by.
All right, good.
DEF.
DESC.
Yeah, that.
Are you done? Do you guys think he's right? I think you're missing one crucial piece of information. What are we putting in descending order?
Customer ID.
Customer ID. There you go. All right. So that was pretty good. You were close. Customer ID. Here we go. Let's try this now. Oh yeah, baby. There he is at the very top. All right. I shouldn't have clapped right in front of the microphone. The people that listen to this. Yes.
I think there's names going more for that.
I agree. We do already have some names on there. So excuse me just a moment. Those of you that are hanging on every word I say online right now. Is anyone even watching? Not live. No. This will be a pre-recorded show. All right. So Lancelot's in there, and we've inserted a new record into the database. Notice what we did not insert. Did you guys notice that we did not, let me launch it back here again. Oh, I'm gonna have to go, oh, I lost it. Okay, well, just notice this. If this was the Lancelot information here, like this would, we changed this to Sir Lancelot. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fields here that we filled out, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's these 6 fields here, right? But notice that we did not put in the customer ID. Did you guys notice that back here? Customer ID is not listed. And so customer ID, because it is a primary key field, it's Joshua?
What's the Wi-Fi password? I was gonna try this out.
I don't remember.
It's Condor's 2019 with a capital C.
Condor's 2019 with a capital C.
Which Wi-Fi is it?
The guest one.
Guest one. And so with these primary key fields, it will automatically pick whatever the next number is in the primary key list, right? So
What if you give it
a customer ID? So let's see. We don't have to wonder. We can find out, right? So we're going to do customer ID. And this is the kind of stuff these are the kind of questions I'm expecting you to ask as you're doing this on your own. You're playing around with it and going, hey, what if I tried inserting my own customer ID? So we'll leave everything the same here except for Sir Lancelot. What customer ID do you want to give it? Take your time. I got another, how long do I have? 25?
24 minutes.
24 minutes? Okay. I have 24 minutes.
What if you do a repeating number, like 91?
One that's already there, bold. Okay, all right. I like the way you think. And that's so bold. I'm gonna put your name on the board.
All right, let's go.
All right. So name on the board, bold move. He's going to try an existing number. Now, what did we say about the primary key fields? They can't repeat, right? We should I'm just going to tell you guys, hold on to something when I do this. Okay. So we're going to try 91. Here we go. What? I don't need a quote, but because it's a number, it's a numeric field. But look what we got. Error 1, could not execute statement due to a constraint failure. And it's a unique constraint. So this was a unique field, customer ID was, and it says you can't insert a number that's already there. No way, dude. So let's try one that's not there. So our last number was 92. Our next one will be 93, but let's do something and make it, Let's do 100. I like it. Let's try that one. So we'll do something, we'll leave a gap and see what happens. You guys think it's going to work? Aiden says, no way. You guys are crazy.
I agree with it.
Right? Do you know what? Aiden's not smart enough. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't care. It lets you do that. Right? Now, here's another question. What if I insert another record now and I don't supply the customer ID? Is it going to put it at 93 since there's a gap there? Is it going to put it at 101? It's not, you think 93? All right, so we're going to put Sir Lancelot Jr. He had a kid. Exactly. It happens very quickly in the shark world. And so we're going to stick this in there. We're going to leave customer ID out. What happens? It inserted it fine. One row was created. And that row is, how many people say 93? Sure. How many people say 90? Say 101.
I still think Ian's smart.
Which one did you say, Aiden?
101.
I like the way Aiden thinks.
Yeah.
There it is, 101, right? So kind of the rule with the primary key is it just looks at whatever the last number is and it adds one to it when you create another one, right?
So they're never going to be any binary.
So unless we explicitly put that in there, no, there won't. Or we delete those two fields and open up that space again, right? And we will learn eventually how to delete. Okay, so let's look at null values. What is a null value? Nothing. Null is nothing, right? It is not the same as a blank. All right. And so let's see what a null field looks like. So like we enter in all these customer names here. Let's just say we enter in the name super cool name. All right. Super cool name, but we don't put any of the other information in there. All right. So we're going to insert a new record like this. Maybe we feel bad about the fact that we've got some gaps in there. So we will insert customer ID 93. All right. We'll put it there. You think it'll let me do that since it's not after the last one? You going to say yes on this one, Aiden? Huh? Okay. Even after that last failure? Okay. All right. They're sticking by your side, Aiden. They're like pulling for the Falcons, right? All right. So I ran it. It worked just fine. And we refreshed that. Whoops, I didn't mean to refresh. I meant to click run SQL. What did I just do? What have I done? Okay, so customer ID, select star, order by customer ID descending. There we go. Remember, it's not case sensitive, so it was okay with me doing that. And sure enough, it let me put that in there for customer name. But look, all of these other fields, because I didn't supply a value for those fields, they have a null value. It just means there's nothing there, right? No value has been supplied. If I did the same thing here and I did other super cool name, that's right. That's right. We'll make that one 94, but this time for contact name, I'm going to insert a space, right? So contact name, if I run that and search it in there, I rerun this and there it is, but notice it's just blank value for that. So it's different from null. And so that's useful because sometimes you want to find out, like, for example, let's say someone goes on there and you're getting their contact information and they leave some of the fields blank. So they haven't filled, maybe they're inserting their address info and phone numbers, but they didn't supply a mobile phone, right? So this would be a way for you to look at it in the future and say, oh, this field is null. They haven't filled that out yet. So you could request that field. That might be one way you would use it. Yes, Brady.
Does it matter? So whenever you're going to put like a new thing in, does it matter if you do customer name, contact name, address, city, postcode, or can you put that in any order?
You can put it in any order. It's just your values will have to match whatever order that you put them in the insert into statement. All right. Did everybody catch that? Good question. Right? Are you on the board yet, Brady? Okay. Let's see. You know what? On one day, I want to get to the point where I could just go like that and it just writes it on the board.
That'd be so cool. I give you.
You need a slash mark for like each thing, and like a crooked line.
That would be super cool. All right. So that's right. The order doesn't matter. You just have to make sure that, you know, if I put customer ID at the end of this list, then 94 needs to go at the end of this list, right? So now when you're dealing with null fields, you have to deal with them a little differently than other values. You have to actually, if I'm using that in like a where statement, I have to actually explicitly say is null or is not null, right? So if I want to return all the values, what was that? I thought it's like someone was about to sing the final countdown or something. The final countdown. All right, so customer name where address is null. All right, so we're looking only for the records where the address is null. And we should have one, right? Because we just inserted one in there and left it null. So let's see if we get that back. Oh, there was super cool. That's right. We did it for other super cool as well. So we have two records where it's null. But what about contact name? Let's try contact name and let's see if we can prove that null is different from just a space, an empty space. Run that, only one record comes back and that's the only one where contact name is null. Now, if we do is not null, then it should return every other record, right? Except for that one. And sure enough, we go through here and those values are missing. Other super cool name is there, but super cool name is not. Bruce is weak. Let's see. Where was I? Okay, so that's null values. And there's an exercise there. Remember, guys, try the exercises. Make sure you do the exercises at the end and you can answer those questions, okay? It may save your life, or at least your grade, okay? We got a few more minutes, so let's go on to update. So clearly, you don't just want to insert new values. Sometimes you have values in there incorrectly, and so you want to update existing values. So that's what update's for. And so the format for update is you use the keyword update, you list the table name, and you say set. Right, when we did insert into, what went right here? We would say insert into table name, and then what came next? No.
Oh, the open parentheses.
The open parentheses for the column names that we're inserting, right? So open parentheses, then values, and then open parentheses again, and we would insert those records in there. For this one, you just say update table name and set, and then you have a list of column name equals this, other column name equals this, right? And you have this optional where condition here. Now I say it's optional, but you almost always have a where condition, because if you don't put a where statement in there and filter your list, what's going to happen when you run your update? It updates every single record in there, right? So if I say update the contact name to be me.
That was not what it was. It wasn't.
That was not the background.
I wonder if it was me. It was like right when I said me. Let me try it again. If I want to update the contact name to be me. Okay, well, I thought maybe it was like a special button on me I didn't know about, that I just discovered. So if I just say that, update customers set contact name equal Jamie, quote unquote Jamie, then all of a sudden every contact name in there is set to Jamie, right? It'll update every record. Sometimes you want to do that. Sometimes you want to change every single record to that, but most of the times you don't. Well, most of the times you want to say update the contact name where the customer ID is 3 or something like that, right? So you typically want to include a where statement to narrow down the list of items that are going to be updated. So for this one here, we're going to update the contact name to be Alfred Schmidt and the city to be Frankfurt. But we're not going to do that, right? Because we're way more creative than that. So we happen to know that our Sir Lancelot record is contact ID what? Okay, I don't really know. I was hoping you guys were going to give me a definite answer there. Let's see. Yes, 92. It's 92. There we go. All right, so we're going to update customer ID. Where is it? 92. And we're going to set the contact name. It's moved on from Bruce. Bruce, unfortunately, bumped into a mine on the bottom of the ocean, and he didn't make it out. Yeah, they told the family-friendly version in Finding Nemo, but he didn't survive that. So sounded like a different spot. Was it not? Is it the fire? So like a fire extinguisher? Huh? It's not mine. All right, so we're going to change the contact name to Jaws this time. And that's right. And then the city, I don't have any other underwater cities. Does anybody know one from The Little Mermaid or anything like that? Or what was the new one, Moana? I hadn't seen that. What about SpongeBob? Where didn't he have a town? Bikini Bottom. I'm not going to put that. Yeah, sorry. We'll just call it the what? Danville. Okay.
That's a great show.
All right, I agree. All right, here we go. We've affected one row. Let's see if it worked. So we should have just updated Lancelot. Sir Lancelot. Jaws is now the contact name, and he now lives in Danville. Still on Shark Lane, though. Thankfully, the same exact road was there, and there was a place of residence at 22. Shark Lane. So that's how we update the information, right? We notice we specified the where so that we didn't update everything. Just to prove to you, if we don't do the where and we just run that, now we just updated 96 rows. Yeah, so if I run this again, everybody has Jaws as their contact name and they all live in Danville. Right? Yeah, exactly. So it's probably, hopefully this didn't affect everybody that's using the W3 school system right now, right? That was just for our session, I hope. All right, does that make sense to you guys though? How we go about doing that?
Yes.
Okay. You can, yes?
Is there a way to undo that, like if you accidentally change everybody's name?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some of those calls to the database guys and I'm like, guys, is there any way we could roll back the database? What's the last copy you have of the database? And they're like, it was 3 a.m. yesterday. I'm like, oh man, yeah, we need to roll back to that. And so we lost all the data that we'd stuck in there between 3 a.m. yesterday and now. Yes.
Could you use transactions?
You could use transactions, and there may be a way. There may be a way to roll it back, like you said, if it's a transaction and you haven't completed and finalized, you haven't committed it all, right? So there could be ways to do that, but there have been many instances where we've accidentally done that, and yeah, there was no way to get it back without just taking the whole database copy and overriding it with the last copy that we made in the database. So be very careful with your update. Be very careful with your delete, which is the next thing that we're going to look at. But I just want to point out, which should be obvious to us, that your where could match multiple records, even if they don't match them all, right? So like with Mexico, there's 5 records that are Mexico, and we could just run a where statement against just those 5 records. So if I do that, run the SQL, 5 rows are affected. So now when I select it again, I look down through here and Jaws is in there for most of the contact names, but every time I encounter somebody that's from Mexico, where are all of those Mexican people? There they are, 1. It's so similar to Jaws, maybe I already passed it, you know, but I can't see this one without, has anybody ever seen the guy? Who's the guy, Joshua? David Lopez. Has anybody ever seen any of his stuff online? Yeah. Where he's like, he has a little scene from, what was the movie? Taken. It's like Liam Neeson and Taken. And so they take this little excerpt from it and he goes, who is this? Liam Neeson says that. And so then it flips back to David Lopez and he goes, it's Juan. And he goes, I don't know who you are, but I will find you. And he's like, it's not Juan. So it's just, it's silly, but it cracks me up. All right. Last thing before we leave, we're going to do delete. Update, warning. Okay, delete. Same kind of warning with delete, right? So delete is very similar. Delete from table name where it matches this condition. And there's a big note here with an exclamation point at the end. If you do not supply a where clause that filters the records that you're going to delete, it will delete everything, right? So we want to make sure that we're only deleting the appropriate records. So here, for example, we could try one and we say we want to delete everything where the contact name is 1. All right, so contact name equals 1. We're getting him out of there. Sorry, buddy. We just think Jaws is, he's a better contact person. So where's 1? Down here at the bottom, number 3 was displaying 1. So let's run that SQL. We get down here to the bottom and look, 2 and 3 are missing. And some of the other ones, we've got some gaps in our data. So just remember, make sure you supply the appropriate where clause. Don't leave that off. Because if you do delete from customers and you run that SQL, 92 rows were just affected. And so now when I go in here and I say return all the rows from that database table, there is nothing there. Sir Lancelot is gone. No. Jaws is gone. No. And we can't get him back because we can't call the database guy at W3 Schools and say, hey, restore that from 5 minutes ago if you've got a copy. So we can restore the database, but yeah, the changes we just made are not going to be there. So this restores back to whatever copy they had. The database is fully restored. Now we run it again and we have all these, we only go up to 91. We don't have any of the records that we added after that. All right. What? All right, any questions about that? So our reading assignment this time is we're going to go down one, two, okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to, we're out next week, right? So I'm going to give you guys as much work as possible because I don't want you to enjoy your Thanksgiving. No, seriously, this is what I would like to do. I would like to, I'm going to give you a couple of extra sections. So we're going to start with the where? And or not. Okay, we're going to start with and or not. And I want you to read all the way down through min max. All right, min and max. So that I'll put that assignment online. So your quiz next week will be over a little bit more because I want to get us all the way down through joins here. And what I'd really like to do is wrap up the joins section next week or a week after next, right? When we get back from the holidays. So it's just 2 extra sections. This didn't take you guys long to go through and play around with, right? So grab yourself some gingerbread Oreos, get in front of the computers, right? And hang out and go through those sections. And Lord willing, you guys have a great Thanksgiving and I will see you in a couple of weeks.